Alright, so today's video is going to be about getting to the point. It's not going to be really educational, motivational, nothing like that. It's more so just something I've been thinking about a lot recently. So, I'm also going to work on stop saying so. But, pretty much, in this job, recently, we've been working a lot of saturated leads. So leads that have been worked by previous reps in our company numerous times. And we've all been given the same exact training, especially when it comes to the intro. Our intro is, hey, name with company. And then from there, like, you kind of give like your own spin off. Now, most door-to-door reps do say, I'm named with company. And that's the problem. I view it as a problem because I've noticed repeatedly that I'll say, I'm named with company. And it immediately triggers this sales resistance in the prospect. Almost like a knee-jerk reaction to say they're not interested. So I've found ways to kind of overcome it by first not wearing the branded safety vest from my company. So it's like people don't really know why I'm there because we all wear the same exact safety vest as well. And then I stopped using my tablet because, you know, everybody in the company uses the tablet as well. Like, I'm trying to distinguish myself from the other reps as much as possible, so I'm not getting hit with that knee-jerk reaction sales resistance. And I'll be honest, it's been successful. Overly successful, I wouldn't say that, but I've still been managing to maintain quota with that intro. Now, the reason that I'm actually saying something about it rather than just keeping on doing it because it's so successful is because one thing I've noticed with trying to distinguish yourself is I've slowly, indirectly have been hiding away from the fact that I'm selling something. And I don't think that's a very good practice or a very good habit to maintain long term. And here's why. One, I'm gonna give two sides of the spectrum where you're extremely to the point and you're hiding the fact that you're selling something by saying everything under the sun that's not what you're selling. So I'll give like a pros and cons of both parts because I've done both pitches. So one, let's start off with getting straight to the point. So I'm blank with company name. I'm stopping by because we just got finished doing whatever. Who are you guys using for your internet? So one pro of that is there are people that have heard about your company, they've researched your company, they've spoken to a lot of other reps about whatever the service was at the time. So when you get straight to the point, you waste no one's time. You don't waste your time, you don't waste their time by trying to be deceitful in why you're there. And for a lot of customers, like, they'll be like, no, we're not interested. But there's also the select few that were actually interested. And then instead of like hiding what you're trying to sell, it's like, you know, they're just laydowns and they just kind of bought on the spot. And then a con of that intro is that you trigger a lot of sales resistance, so you get a lot more door slams because they hear it from every single rep. Like they're tired of it. I never owned a home before, I've never ran into so many door knockers, but I've listened to their stories. Like, they get knocked sometimes twice a day, every day of the week. Like, I must be exhausting. So that's one pro and that's one con. Now, let's go to the other end of the spectrum, which is what I've been doing recently, where I wear very concealed clothing. I don't use a tablet. Like, everything is like very kind of mysterious. A pro of that is that, one, you definitely get more contacts that way, and you get further in the conversation, which is great because you actually have something to work with. You can kind of explain what's going on before you tell them why you're there. So at least they can, think about what's going on before they door slam you, which reduces the risk. But I'll say the con of it is, for a lot of people, once they figure out why you're actually there, it triggers this very similar sales resistance. Like, yeah, we're not switching. Now, the thing about both of these scenarios, where you get to the sales resistance for the first prospect and the sales resistance with the second prospect, is that it just becomes objection handling, dismissal handling, smokescreen, not really smokescreen, but it becomes objection and dismissal handling. Now, on the one end, in the very, very beginning, you get to the objection a lot faster. And as a sales rep, you're trained to overcome the objection. On the second hand, you get to the objection a lot slower, which uses a lot more energy. Now, how do I say this? In my mind, right, I've said this in my last video, where if you had the worst pitch in the world, but you got to pitch every single person on planet Earth, you would be a very wealthy man. And you can have the best pitch ever, but if you only put it in front of 100 people, you're not making that much money. That's very true. That's just the law of large numbers. Now, if on one end you're very direct and to the point, like, yes, you might get a lot more door slams, less context, less into the conversation, but if you're able to actually knock more doors and talk to more people on a daily basis, contrast that with, yeah, you'll get a higher conversation per unit of energy expended, and further with a lot more people, but you don't get to get in front of as many people because you're spending a lot more time and effort on the wrong people. Then which scenario actually wins at the end of the day? Almost like getting to the point would win in this scenario. And I've kind of noticed this with like the whole digital online space as well, where people used to really want to be influencers until they found out that influencers don't make that much money. And now they're kind of moving towards running businesses where they're very overt about the fact that they are selling something. And yes, it's going to weed out the people that don't want to be sold. But then again, you don't want those people in your audience because you're there for a purpose. You're there for a job. Now you just have a community of people that are ready to buy from you. So that's just what's been on my mind. It's about getting to the point. That's really about it. I think I've I think I've kind of figured it out a little bit. Just get to the point. Don't hide the fact that you're actually selling something. Just get to the objection as fast as you could so you can overcome it and actually present. So yeah. I do kind of want to turn this into a educational now where I'm going to tell you to get to the point. But I believe I still believe that both sides serves its purpose. It just depends on the context. And that's what I'm really trying to understand. Like, which context does this make sense to do? But honestly, I think people really respect it when you're not hiding from what you're trying to do with them. Like, yeah, you might get some sales resistance, but that's something you can actually work with. End of the day, my time is valuable. The prospect's time is valuable. Like, why waste both of our times? So yeah, that's it. I guess just get to the point more. It'll probably make you more sales on a consistent basis. That's it.